Welcome, fellow goofballs, to Two Giant Goofballs, the New York Giants podcast. I am Drew. Hopefully later on to be joined by Rob, who's stuck in a little bit of traffic here today, guys. But wanted to kick this off here, get you guys all the latest and greatest news here. Got a little bit of excitement this week here as we got joint practices with the Jets there. So we got a report and all the news coming from there with a lot of nice words coming out about Abdul Carter, which is, pretty much been par for the course this whole entire camp here. Also got the valuations are in on the NFL team. So let's see how the Giants did here. How much are they worth now? And going to go over the upcoming game here this coming weekend here. So sit tight, guys. We got a lot to go over here today. All right. All righty. So let's break right into it here, talking about the Jets and Giants joint practices here, guys, because there is, like I said, there's a lot to go over. There really is. So for those who aren't aware, obviously the Giants are playing the Jets here this week. So it's going to be on Saturday. So because of that, they've been doing some joint practices ahead of time there. I've done 2 so far. And the big thing that you've been hearing about it is the rookies again. The rookies have been pretty much, the big thing here, basically all training camp. So the defensive line also, again, another big story here this offseason has been looking really great. They've been holding up great against the Jets. Now, Brian Burns specifically is getting a lot of kudos from all the beat writers out there as like really being a guy who's kind of turning a corner of becoming that elite pass rusher that people have been saying for years he can be. So that's been a great thing to hear. There's been a lot of reports about him working specifically with Dexter Lawrence. Now, obviously, Dexter Lawrence has taken a big jump up the last couple of years there and now has become the best tackle in all of football there. And that's been something that Brian Burns has talked about, wanting to kind of reach that full potential. He's well aware that he's never been that, 12, 13, 14 sack kind of guy. And he's been a guy that's been that 8 to 10 sack kind of range there. And he knows that that's something, now that he's getting paid this $30 million, that's something he really, really wants to, go ahead and become now. So it's nice to see him and Dexter Lawrence getting together a lot and working together. Marcus Mbow also been getting a lot of kudos here from the beat writers for this. So Jermaine Eluemunor has actually been out because his wife gave birth to their latest child there. So Marcus Mbow has actually been stepping in as the starting right tackle at practice there. So he's been getting a lot of love there for his work there, which is good to see. Again, he's having a great camp. Looked, much better than people expected. Also, obviously that first preseason game there as well. So good to hear continued good news on him. On the health front, Nabers, Hyatt, and Phillips all have been back to some kind of capacity. So obviously they've been kept out of the live drills at that point. There's been more of the walkthroughs and things like that. You're seeing them at there, but it's all steps back to getting onto the field there at that point. Now Nabers, honestly, I don't anticipate seeing much of him on anything that could potentially get him hurt up until the regular season starting. I think they're going to kind of bubble wrap him basically until they don't need to anymore, basically. Again, we all know how important Nabers is to this team. Without Malik Nabers, this offense, guys, is a completely different offense. Completely different. He is legitimately that important to this team right now. So, they're not going to go ahead and risk him re-aggravating that toe injury that he's been really facing now for this is, going into his 3rd year he's dealing with it now, because he was dealing with it again back in his last year in LSU and his rookie year with the Giants as well. So I know a lot of people have been saying, is that something we should be concerned about? I wouldn't be too concerned about the injury with Nabers. Again, he's been dealing with it 2 years. And he was so good at LSU, the Giants picked him very, very high, and it was, most electrifying receiver basically in college football that year. And then now, obviously, his rookie year, we've gone ahead and seen him be an amazing receiver with the likes of Daniel Jones and Drew Lock and Tommy DeVito. So, yeah, I have no doubt he's going to do great things this year, even with the injury he's battling. But I don't want to see him out there. And I'm hoping that's what the Giants' plans is. And it looks like, by all accounts, that's the plan. Go ahead and just let him rest up, let him heal up, and then use him when you need him in the regular season. And it's not uncommon with guys that have long nagging injuries to see this kind of thing. I wouldn't even be shocked if during the season you see him practicing less, and resting up and not risking that injury and letting it heal in between games. Because when you have a long-standing nagging injury, guys, that's what happens. you play in a game like that, because let's be honest, football is one of those games you're moving nonstop. It's not like baseball. You're not sitting in the outfield scratching yourself for half the game. He's going to need time in between those games to heal up. So I'm sure the Giants are going to have kind of like a specialized practice basically schedule for him for this entire season. And again, if you haven't heard of the rumors, which he has started himself as a possibility, surgery may be on the table this offseason. So, it's been fighting him for a while now. So he's recognized and he's moving on towards trying to fix it. But in the meantime, he knows he's needed this season. He wants to play this season. So, the offense overall as a whole, though, guys, I've been hearing a lot of mixed on. I've heard some reporters say it was okay, not exciting, not great. I've heard some say it looked really good. There's been a lot of mix on that, So I do think that's something we're going to have to go ahead and keep an eye on. Again, though, keep in mind, no Andrew Thomas, no Jermaine Eluemunor, no Nabers, no Hyatt, no Slayton on these offense versus defense kind of drills they're doing there with the Jets right now. So that's a lot out right now for the Giants. You're talking both offensive tackles and 3 out of the top, 4 receivers now? That's a lot. If you want to call Hyatt a fourth receiver, I don't know where to put this kid right at this point, but that's a lot. That's a lot. So you got a couple of players obviously out in the Jets defense as well. So I'm not going to sit there and say it was stacked offense. I mean, stacked defense versus an offense that's got a lot of struggles and injury issues and people that aren't been playing there the last couple of days. It's been both sides dealing with that. So it really makes it difficult when you do that to kind of take a grasp of where exactly the offense or defense is in that kind of scenario. So again, never have I heard much people say, oh, they were embarrassing, they were horrendous. You always get 1 or 2 people at that point when you look at all the stuff the beat writers are saying there. Mostly they looked okay. Nothing to get excited about. Nothing to go, burn MetLife Stadium down about. That's basically where they're at there. That the one thing was interesting on offense was Elijah Chapman also back out there playing fullback. We talked about that earlier in the camp there. That's happening again here also now with the the practices with the Jets as well. So tells you that one thing, the Giants liked it and they plan on using it, which is what honestly I think is what's probably going on. To what degree, I don't know, but it's something they probably plan on pulling out during the season there. The second thing is that they're not quite sure. They need more time with it. That's definitely the possibility. So I don't want to sit there and say that this is definitely what's going on. But again, for those who aren't aware, Chapman has played, as a running back in high school. He was a fullback in college at times. They had specific packages for him. And it looks like the Giants are going to go ahead and try to use that potentially as well. A lot of news on scuffles at the joint practices as well. Nothing I would say was a full-on brawl. It wasn't like, it was with the Lions a couple years ago. This is definitely more of a situation where there's been some, pushing, shoving. There was a couple punches, but, nothing that broke out into an all-out brawl there. So, I think it's, good energy. I'll put it that way. Like, you don't want the guys to be not fighting. And a lot of it is offensive linemen that were fighting, thinking that the smaller guys there, the weapons on the offense there, were getting pushed around a little bit too much there. They were kind of sticking up for him, kind of like you see with quarterbacks specifically usually, but this is a situation where the offensive line is really taken to protecting the rest of the offense in a big way there, which I like to see. Let's get to a couple of the comments you guys had. Let's see here. Dev starts us off with, has Alexander been playing? I haven't heard anything specific on him on the joint practices. I did hear since end of preseason game there, the rest of the start of this week there, I did hear a little bit about him on the field there, but nothing as far as him specifically and, the full-on contact offense versus defense kind of drills at that point there. I do think that we'll probably see him again in this preseason game, hopefully for more. I want to see him get a lot of time on the field. But again, he's been battling an injury, so you can't do it to the point where that's an issue. And now all of a sudden you got a guy out in the field playing too long that shouldn't be probably out there as much, So without knowing the medical info, it's hard to say what we're going to see on him. But he has been definitely underwhelming by all accounts in camp so far. A guy that we had a lot of hopes for on this show. So we'll have to see how the rest of the training camp and everything progresses there. We do know he's coming from a smaller school. Sometimes there is a pretty steep learning curve in that kind of scenario. But again, he did look good in the Senior Bowl. He did look good, in all his pro day and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have to take it, wait and see kind of attitude there with him. I don't want to give up on a kid too quickly, but there's already some people I know that kind of have that attitude already. But it's way early. Let's see see what he's got. Ghost Dogs Big Talk, what's up? That says keep Nabers on ice. We have seen enough. LOL. Exactly. I said I'm all for that. I don't want to see him one single play this entire preseason. I'd rather sit him out the rest of the camp. Even at that point, I don't think it's going to be a situation where we need to see him at this point. Like, let's be honest. Even when Russell Wilson's out there, because the rumor is starters will play more of this preseason game than they did the prior one. Even with Russell Wilson and the starting offense out there, it's going to be a very vanilla offense. We all know that. Let's be honest. It's going to be just like it was that first drive against the against the Bills, where it was dink and dunk, go for yak, drop off to the tight ends, that kind of stuff, especially with the way the wide receivers have been injured. So I don't think putting Nabers out there even helps the offense all that much, because again, it's just preseason. So, and like I said, I don't expect to see him. Jay says that outfit has a lot of miles on it, of course, because it's the favorite rest stop of the entire country, Buc-ee's. I know a lot of you guys aren't really, too big into the, Buc-ee's up north, because you don't really deal with it very often. But it is the happiest place on earth, pretty much there, besides Disney, of course. So, let's see here. Oops, my mouse is going all crazy here. Jay says, "Have you heard anything from Goldston?" No, I have not. Jay says, "Deb, it's crazy that Darius Alexander is a year older than Cordell Flott." Yep, he's COVID year, guys. It's crazy. Deb said, "I did not know that, Jay." Yeah, Jay says, "We always get burned by guys who have good Senior Bowls." It's weird too. Remember that was a thing for a while. Like the Giants were like getting guys who like the Senior Bowl MVPs like every single year, guys they loved in the Senior Bowl. And you're right, it didn't work out. I definitely think it was more of a Gettleman thing than a Shane thing, that's for sure. But again, Alexander coming off injury, coming from a small school, I think we just have to have a little patience with this kid. That's not to say he's going to be a baller and he's going to be a great player. I was hoping for good things from him. Obviously, I think it's a great scenario again for a rookie to come into, play next to Dexter Lawrence. Like that's the dream for most rookies to come into. But there's definitely the variables, the school issue. Coming from a very, very small school, that's an issue for sometimes, and also on top of that, again, the injuries. So we'll have to see what happens there. Jay says, "Not worried. It's not like we're facing two corners week 1, 2. Yeah, like I said, it is what it is. I mean, you're saying as far as Nabers, like I'm not. There's not a single guy that I would say Nabers goes against that I'm like, oh God, no, not that guy's covering Nabers. Like I feel like Nabers has gotten. And maybe I'm early on this. Who knows? If I'm crazy, feel free to tell me. But I feel like there's a scenario where there's not a scenario, I should say, where Nabers goes into a game and I'm like, this guy that's covering Nabers can shut him down. He already is mentally in my eyes, like where I'm like, no matter what, he's going to do his thing. He's that guy you've got to just try to contain. You're not going to stop him. Ghost Dog says, "I did not want to see Banks covering Pickkins at this point. LOL. Now I'm nervous." Yeah. Well, we'll see on Pickkins. I mean, listen, I don't want to go too much in the Cowboy stuff there, but Pickkins is a guy that I think the Cowboys are going to regret getting. Because I'm assuming that's what we're talking about is week 2 with George Pickkins there, with having Banks having to cover him as a CB2. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm really not. Maybe I'm crazy for it. But again, look at the history of the Steelers and look at the guys they've gotten rid of as a wide receiver. They've gotten rid of a lot of them. And typically they know to get rid of them at the exact right time. They know how to draft basket case wide receivers, get the best they can of them, and then let them go. So yeah, I'm not too concerned about that part of it there. I am concerned about Banks overall, but not that particular week exactly. And he says, "So there is concern, Jay varies, but the other way around, LOL." And he says, "I'm hoping, Drew." Exactly. Like I said, it's all we can do because no one knows. That's the beauty of the NFL. That's one thing I love about football more than anything else. Listen, we can all have our opinions, but there are no right or wrong answers until it happens. That's the beauty of football. We can argue all day long, But until it happens, we don't know what's going to happen. And even what should happen doesn't always happen. So it's craziness there. Jason, someone with Pickkins has to get through to him. Good behavior and a good season is worth $30 million. He would be dumb to go knucklehead contract year. That's the thing. He is dumb and a knucklehead. Let's be very frank about that. Like, he's at a scenario already where he was given top flight receiver kind of responsibilities, and he just cannot get his stuff together. Again, that's what it is. It's what it's always been. So, if you look at it, at his stats there, even at that point, you can see a clear difference between when he played and didn't play last year, first off, on the offense. So I'm not taking away the talent part of it there. But he's been 3 years in the league now. He's only had one season over 1,100 yards. The rest were an 800 yard and 900 yard. He's averaging less than 1,000 yards a season, guys. And you have the personality part to think about there. Regardless of what happens this year with him imploding or exploding or whatever you want to call it there, he's got that attitude issue and he's got that reputation. That's going to hurt him. So if he's smart, again, you're right, Jay. If he's smart, he's going to ball out. He's going to do everything he's asked of him at that point. He's going to go work hard the entire time. But he's not. If he was smart, let's be honest, he'd still be in Pittsburgh. He wouldn't be in Dallas. They literally got rid of him and got DK Metcalf to avoid having to get him and go ahead and give him a big contract. They literally got rid of him. They decided to walk away and go for DK Metcalf. Well, he himself got, let go by his own team at that point. So, yeah, like I said, I'm not expecting big things out of him whatsoever there. All right, guys, before we get to the next segment, it looks like Rob is out from his traffic here. Let me go ahead and pull him up here. Oh, nope. I still have so many weird things up on this end to clean this thing out here. Where are you, Rob? There we are. There you are.
Here I am.
Ugh. I got to clean out all our images stuff. We've had so many guests on lately and stuff like that it's like 10,000 images to clean out in this thing now at this point. I'm surprised the system hasn't told me yet I got too many images on here.
Well, there's too many cars on the turnpike currently, especially with all this crazy rain coming in.
Never too many cars in the turnpike.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They love all the cars. So
I left Midtown to go through the Lincoln Tunnel, and it was terrible.
Who would have thought traffic leaving New York City?
Well, Drew, you're also down in Florida, but as soon as you hit right around the Newark Elizabeth part between 13 and 14 on the turnpike, or 13, 12, it just turned to a gray sky and a wall of just rain.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I never.
And everyone went from 60 miles an hour because of traffic or 55 miles an hour down to 12.
Yeah, that sounds about right. 12 miles.
It was
yeah. Well, let's talk some more football. Just get that off your mind.
Ooh.
So we're talking about the Giants and Jets practice here. And of course, anytime the Giants do anything right now, there's two guys who become automatic stories. And that is, of course, Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart. Well, in these practices, it's been huge right now with the talk on Abdul Carter, a guy who, again, quite frankly, has gotten a lot of attention this entire, training camp here. And again, rightfully so. So here's what the Jets players had to say about Abdul Carter. Justin Fields says, and he starts off talking specifically about the defensive line. I should say that as well, but goes into Carter himself. He says, they're good. They're really good. They have speed on the outside with Brian on the outside. And of course, Dexter Lawrence. He's been a menace for some years now on the inside. I think they're really good. Abdul, he's good too. He can move around a lot. They're going to be really good up front. Aaron Glenn, of course, the ex-corner, now head coach of the Jets. Which, how weird does that seem like? I feel it old, Aaron Glenn being the head coach of the Jets, because I still think of him as the corner, back in the Parcells days,
Yeah. Just shows we're getting old, man.
Yeah, listen, there's a lot more showing that we're old than just that. You know what I mean? Aaron Glenn says he's a grown man. He didn't shock anyone by the things that he can do. He's a damn good player. Now, also an anonymous player. So Giants Insider, the podcast slash publication, which by the way, guys, if you haven't checked them out, really good podcast as well. They tweeted out, talking to a few Jets people after practice, they came away really impressed with Abdul Carter. One person saying to me, quote, "That dude is going to be a problem." And again, guys, we have been proponents of let's try to stay calm and even keeled until we see exactly what Abdul Carter is in the field. And you saw everybody going crazy this first preseason game because he had 3 passing plays he was in to rush the quarterback, and all 3 he got a rush on. These guys keep making it harder and harder to stay level-headed. Like, at what point do we just go full on in and go, you know what, screw it, he is next Lawrence Taylor? Like, like I'm gonna drink the Kool-Aid.
right. Putting that styrofoam hat on. Let's go.
Again, it's not probable, guys.
It's not probable, but it's not impossible.
No, yeah.
But come on, let the guy just play. Let him be his own player.
Yes.
Like, what if he's better? What if everyone's going to compare Carter to everyone else that comes into that position? You're just down, and now you put him down as LT because he could be better. Just let him be him.
If he's better than LT, I'll be extremely happy. I'm just saying, point blank.
I think you'll be saying a little more than just extremely happy.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go ahead and get his jersey tomorrow if that's the case. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, it gets harder and harder. I feel like it's not even like we don't know the exact scenarios where these quotes came from. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like sometimes I read these quotes and I'm like, I wish I knew the question being asked to know the context, because I feel like reporters are going out of their way to ask people about him because he's a story. And it means a totally different thing to somebody going out of their way to saying, you know what, yeah, we had a good practice with the Giants today. By the way, Abdul Carter looked absolutely freaking amazing. There's a big difference between that and saying, how did Abdul Carter look? Oh, he looked great, just like we expected. There's a big difference in how I take that quote.
Yeah.
And that's part of my hesitation. Because I don't know what that scenario is like that there. But again, everybody that sees this kid play point blank, everybody says this kid's going to be a beast. He's going to ball out. He's going to be amazing. Like, that's just, eventually it's like you see enough people say it. It's like walks like a duck, acts like a duck. The duck must be a duck.
Yeah. Quack, quack.
But I'm trying to stay even keeled. I'm trying to. Really hard. I don't want to get too excited because I've been let down by the Giants so many times. It's not even funny.
It's hard. It's like one of those things you really have to be disciplined and just like kind of put your head down and not listen to the hype, because it's very easy to listen to hype about Abdul Carter. Like, listen, we all bought the hype. Like, let's go back a couple years ago, let's say 6-7 years ago, and we're all sitting at a Friday's bar, maybe not. And
first off, I never go to a Friday's bar.
And well, one has it, it's a little different, but that's besides. But anyway, you're sitting there and you're with your friends, and you're like, "Oh, 6-star pick, and it's Daniel Jones." You're like, "Oh, he's supposed to be the next Eli Manning. Let's go."
I don't think anybody was hyped for that pick.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, let's timber it down, like, because everyone said what the F, but they're like, "Oh, he's next
right,"
and we're getting hyped on. Let's be real. What happened there? And we're getting hyped. Oh, he's supposed to be the next Daniel Jones or the next Eli Manning.
He was the next Daniel Jones.
Yeah, he TJ'd himself.
We didn't help on that one. I'm just like, I feel like I can't even compare a guy to the amount of hype he's gotten. Like, even Saquon didn't get hyped like this. Like that's why I see, like, even Saquon didn't get this kind of hype, I feel like.
Well,
He got
I think
a lot of hype. Don't get me wrong.
he did.
Not
I also think things were kind of pushed back after DJ.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I just like I said, it's too much. I feel bad for the kid. That's a lot to put on him. It's like if he doesn't have double-digit sacks, is everybody going to be upset now? You know, if he's not dominant from the get-go, is everybody upset? That's not fair to put on the kid. So, you know, we'll see what he is, guys. We'll see what he is. Let's see here. We got I'll let you handle this one, Rob, because Jay asked you specifically. He knows that I know nothing in UFC. He says, Rob, who wins the UFC fight this weekend for the belt?
Dude, you got to respect that Russian nation over there. Of course, what's his face? Khabib's cousin dominates that fight. Yeah, it's going to be a good card, but like it's I have such mixed feelings on it because like Khabib was a great fighter, wasn't the most fun to watch, and that's exactly what comes out of his camp. But I'm also not upset because that's what happens in wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Like, it's not the most fun to watch, but it's dominant.
Yeah,
you don't have to do much. So there's that. There's a couple other fights this weekend too. Who is up on these?
Well, you say the one for the belt. Which one is the one for the belt? Again, I know nothing on UFC, so.
He's talking about I always mess up his name. Kajuan's Khalif. He looked.
Flesh.
Oh, yes, thank you.
I'm gonna look it up for you. UFC fight this weekend. Is it the middleweight fight we're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to pronounce this one. Darius Duplessis and Khamzat Chimaev.
Anyway,
I was close.
Anyway, so fun fact though, when you go down to the lower weights on the Saturday fights, you go to the flyweight. Kai from Japan actually trained at Hinzer Gracie, where I was trained jiu-jitsu a few years back before he
went. Kai Ashikara.
Yeah, the blonde-haired Japanese guy.
There we go. That's what. Yeah, he's like a blonde-haired Japanese guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He trained in some Gracie academies. So
like I said, I know nothing on this stuff. Absolutely nothing.
It was like a catch-22 because I also had like 60 pounds on him at the time. So it's like the train away. It's like a stalemate. It's like, all right, he's talented, but he's also like very light.
Wrestling sometimes though too, just to kind of teach a different angle for a wrestler. Because I used to wrestle people different weight classes and stuff all the time too.
Oh, no, definitely for him too, and it's also anyone that trains jiu-jitsu knows like the smallest guys that are the highest belts are pretty much the most badass in the room because like there's nothing you can do besides technique to win every single fight. So like big guys like you, Drew, have leverage. Big guys like me have the weight, drop it on. Small guys that are fighting at 135 have nothing but technique. They're the best guys out there to ask for advice.
They're tacticians.
Oh, they're assassins.
Yes.
They're assassins.
All right. So no Mets, no Nets, no Jets. What's up, fellas? What's up?
What up?
And Deb loves the name there. Doesn't take a genius to figure out what episode that he's talking about. Yankees, Knicks, and Giants. No, there's always. I also thought it should be a rhyming name for a hockey team too. Like we need a it should be like an et of some kind.
Well,
maybe we should get the Winnipeg Jets. How confusing that be? What team are you a fan of? The New York Jets? Which one? They're still Winnipeg Jets. It's just like how much I don't even watch NHL anymore.
But they're still there. It's just crazy to me, like how much shuffling of different sports leagues have done to make fans at different areas, especially New York market. Like there literally was at a time where gyms were out there, not just like the guy named Jim, but the Jets honor Mets because that's where he came from on the island.
Yeah.
and then it was like Giants, Yankees, and Rangers. But coming from New Jersey, I'm a Giants, Mets, and Devils fan.
Yeah, that's how it was in my family. So, Jay says no Mets, no Jets. Feels like I'm at a pub crawl, seeing the same people in different places. Giants fans chat crawl. We should listen. We should do that. That'd be hilarious one day. Do like a pub crawl. Do like a pub crawl. Get a bunch of content creators together. We do a pub crawl together.
Be fun.
Either in person or even just on YouTube. We crawl to people's channels. That would be kind of fun. I would enjoy that actually. I think that'd be fun.
Chat roulette pub style.
Yeah, just move from room to room. Deb says, do you guys ever hear from John Anderson? He was a regular and just disappeared. Occasionally he pops
Junior.
in. Yeah. He does pop in, but definitely not as much anymore. So I know he's going through stuff a while ago, but I just haven't heard much lately.
Yeah, he also was he wasn't an off-season warrior as much as you, Deb. So
yeah,
but definitely thanks for asking about it. But yeah, he should be back hopefully September.
One of the OGs like she is. That's why.
Yeah.
Jay says that might be the guy who complained about Rob's Italian accent intro.
Definitely not.
That was the same guy who complained that we made fun of the people that sunk at that Titanic sub. That guy was crazy. Listen, if you don't have a sense of humor, this is not going to be the show for you. If you get easily offended by everything, it's not going to be the show for you. It is what it is. Like we didn't put ourselves some serious name as if this is like a film study or something like that. You know what I mean? So it is what it is.
The title like goofballs. Come on, guys.
Deb said, just hoping he's okay. Like I said, I'm sure he's fine. Robert says Eagles will destroy you as usual. I'm sorry, 4-2. Talk to me when you get 2 more rings.
6-7. Bring it back.
I love how Eagles fans now are like, oh, I'm going to talk trash because we're finally good. Like, it's taken you how many years to get good?
Listen, it's going to last maybe a couple more years until you got to pay the piper, and then it's going to go all downhill.
Let's see what happens when Barkley gets hurt, because he's never had 2 back-to-back seasons that he's healthy. By the way, when I say that, I am not hoping for that. I have no ill will towards Barkley whatsoever. But history has shown that's typically what happens. So
yeah.
All right, let's get back to football here. After we're done paying, of course, the bills.
Thanks for watching. Like the show? Of course you do, or you would have turned it off by now and not be hearing me. There are plenty of ways to support the show. YouTube is the best place to join us, and we offer memberships there with fun benefits like custom emojis and early access to video clips. Of course, there you can also send super chats and stickers to send one-time support payments. The best way to support the show is to buy these drunk idiots beers at buymeacoffee.com/2giantgoofballs. Along with one-time support payments, there are also monthly plans, so you can continue to help kill their livers each month. You can also show people that you are a goofball by visiting our store at 2giantgoofballs-shop.fourthwall.com. We got everything from shirts, hats, phone cases, funny candles, buttons, stickers, and even a 2 Giant Goofballs towel to dry off your goofballs. Of course, you can always support the show for free by simply hitting the like, subscribe, and share button wherever you are watching or listening to this. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube. Leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps the show tremendously, and quite frankly, the goofballs suck at marketing and need your help to get the word out. Thank you for being part of the Goofball Army and for taking the time out to support the show.
All righty, guys. Let's talk about the Giants' money, which is apparently a giant pile of money, because the list came out of the top franchises as far as valuations in the NFL. And yeah, I hit the wrong button there. The Giants are definitely not hurting in any stretch of the imagination. Now, we talked about it when Eli was talking about potentially buying a piece of the Giants there, and they were talking about a $10 billion valuation. Well, it's gone up now. $10.25 billion, which just changes everything, of course. Because listen, at $10 billion, maybe I would have bought into it there, but at 10.25, I don't know if I can do that now. It's too much, too rich for my blood.
$250 million really sinks it in there, huh?
Yeah, it really does. And Jay, you brought up a point I was going to bring up. A great point. John Mayer is actually considered one of the poorest owners. That's the truth. Like a lot of these guys in the NFL nowadays, because keep in mind, the original OG owners of the NFL teams a lot of them are gone. John Mara is a guy who literally owns the Giants because of the fact that his family has owned the Giants forever. You know, I mean, that's basically what it boils down to. He's not a first generation owner. Whereas Steve Tisch and his family bought into it. You know, there's a little difference there. And obviously Steve Tisch is a well-known producer in Hollywood for many, many years. But yeah, like I said, he's definitely considered that. But listen, it's crazy because when you sit there and own half of a $10.25 billion franchise, I don't think I would call you, poor at that point. I don't think you're worrying about how to put food on the table. That's for sure. So
just how much caviar are you putting out there?
Well, you got to keep again. That's what the Giants are worth. It's not he has $5 billion in his bank account. That's the difference.
Oh yes, I mean, but
well, just to be clear for some people, they're like, wait a minute, $5 billion? Yeah, obviously the poorest. That's the difference. If they sold the Giants, he would get 5.125 or whatever billion.
Well, let's not forget he's also on the Giants payroll.
Yes, he is on the payroll. Plus, as an owner, he gets dividends, obviously. So he's not hurting. I'm sure he's not hurting whatsoever in any way, shape, or form.
He's definitely got quite a few more decimals in his bank account than I do. In the right way, not the wrong way.
Yes. I would say not decimals, probably more commas. Probably at the same 1 decimal point.
Yeah.
So here's the evaluations overall on them. So the Cowboys still are number 1, proving that there's still morons are all across the country rooting for a team that hasn't won jack shit in 30 years. $12.8 billion. Billion dollars. That's absolutely insane. Rams number 2, proving that no matter what you thought of the move from St. Louis, obviously it was the right move. $10.43 billion.
Impressive.
Yeah. The Giants were number 3, the $10.25 billion. Number 4 is the Patriots, $8.76 billion. It's a big drop off after the first 3 guys.
It's funny too, because like the 4 and 5, I thought it would be a little higher and a little more valuable looking at the top 3, especially like the Rams were kind of shocking, but good for
LA. I mean, the Rams are definitely the LA team, not the Chargers, because keep in mind the Chargers were from San Diego. The Rams used to play in LA. So they still had old school fans when they moved back. So they became like, and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful to Jets fans. I'm just being legit. In LA, they're the Giants. The Jets are the Chargers. Like there is a hierarchy when you have 2 teams. Jets fans may not want to agree with that, but it is what it is. You don't really see a lot of green jerseys until they start winning. And all of a sudden they pop up out of the closet everywhere. You see blue jerseys everywhere.
It's the truth. Well, depends where in New Jersey you're at.
That is true.
You see the wrong green.
You see the other green jerseys. Exactly. There's more Eagles fans in Jersey than there is Jet fans. So
that's facts.
It is. Point blank. Once you even get down like western part of Monmouth County, they're everywhere. But as we're talking about the drop from going 3 to 4, I hate to give anything kudos wise to the Cowboys, but they're only almost $2.5 billion more than anybody else. That's insane. And that's why I always say when people are like, oh, well, Jerry Jones, he's not doing very good. They haven't won in 30 years. He's winning where it matters bank account wise. Because if there's one thing Jerry's good at, and listen, he's got his faults. I'm not sitting here trying to say good things about Jerry because I don't think he's a very good person just based on the way I've seen him in interactions with people that he thinks are lesser than them. I don't like the way he does, his contracts with the players, talk to the agents, leave the players out of it. That's the way it's supposed to be. I don't like a lot of things about him, but $2.5 billion difference. That's an accomplishment. The man knows marketing. The man knows how to market this team, point blank. And I know it's America's team, supposedly, and they used to be really good in the 90s and really good in the 70s, and that's helped them get generations of fans all around the country. But he's kept it going with 30 years of losing. That in itself is kind of an accomplishment.
That's impressive right there.
Yeah, like you see it, and not that it happens very often, but you see the Packers like kind of, have an off year, and you see Packers fans kind of dip a little bit. Like you don't see them getting as active, you don't see them as getting as vocal. Every single year, how about the Cowboys?
Well,
and that's
local to this area, Green Bay fans, but there's definitely a market of Green Bay fans.
Oh, I'm not saying all of them. That's everything. Look at that. There's passionate Giants fans. We've sucked for years now. Let's be honest about it.
We have a podcast.
But they definitely dip. Cowboys fans never seem to dip. And again, that's not me trying to say nice about Cowboy fans. I'm actually giving the credit to Jerry Jones in that because he's a marketing genius. The sad thing is, if you are a Cowboy fan listening, he cares more about winning this valuation trophy than he cares about winning a Super Bowl trophy.
Yeah, wrong.
Because he would have blown up the team years ago if this wasn't his goal. It's a business asset for him. Would he love to win? Sure. But he's not willing to risk it all to win. That's why. Number 5 on the list, just beneath the Patriots, the San Francisco 49ers at $8.6 billion. That's, like I said, a lot of money, guys. A lot
of money. I was a little surprised too. Like looking at Giants, Patriots, the Niners have a long history, especially
of winning.
Yeah, and
they're in a high income area.
Yes. Granted, nowadays is not the biggest of sports fans, but I mean, their relevant years of winning a lot was right around the time of the Cowboys.
Well, but they've also gone to 2 Super Bowls in the last, decade as well.
They have.
When's the last time the Cowboys went?
And they were very relevant in NFC.
Not to mention the 49ers keep beating the Cowboys in the playoffs. Had to take the second shot. Had to take the shots.
Yeah.
Shot.
Where the Giants beat them all the time. Them in Green Bay. Hey, guys.
Yeah. Be careful with Sharp about the Packers. Saying for your own benefit. I can get away with it. You can't.
I can get away with it. Wait a minute. My family is Green Bay fans too. What are you talking about?
But like I said, I'm with you. I would have thought the Niners. I actually thought the Niners would be heavier than the Patriots in this list.
That's what I'm saying.
Again, keep in mind, it's not who has the best run franchise, who's had the best 10-year, 20-year run or whatever. It's how much money they're worth. And Boston, people understand, Boston is not as big a city as you would think. It's really not if you've never been there. I don't say tiny. It's not tiny, but it's not.
Well, compared to a lot of other metropolitan areas, yeah.
It's not LA. It's not Dallas. It's not New York. It's not even San Francisco. I think it's like the 30th biggest city in the country or something like that. It's just got a nice downtown, a lot of history. People know about it because of that. It does have a nice downtown. It's a nice city. But like I said, we'll see what happens there overall with the Giants if they do sell up a piece of the team like they've been talking about. But I mean, even if they sell a 10% piece, that's $1.025 billion. That's insanity.
Nuts.
I was born into the wrong family, Rob.
To me both.
All right, guys. Let's talk about the upcoming game here in a second. We're going to go over. We got a couple comments actually too. So, let's see here. Jay says, "What does Rob think when he hears $10.2 billion? 10.2 beers or burgers?"
Both.
Oh, because I didn't realize he did the B. So yeah, he thinks the B. Yeah. No, listen. Rob knows money, okay? Don't you worry, okay? He knows all about how to count money whenever he's selling his vacuum.
Listen,
all the
when you
math
get 10.2 billion, does not get you 10.2 billion beers or burgers.
No.
There's
But
math there.
Yes. But it does get you 100 million of the finest vacuums money can buy. Deb says Buffalo is never even mentioned as a New York team. No, they're not. And it's funny because anybody doesn't happen to live in the New York area might not be aware or lived there at some point. Though I assume most of you all have, since it's the Giants podcast. That's just the way like people are with New York. It's like there's New York City and everything else is upstate New York. And when you say New York, you mean New York City. When you're thinking of upstate New York, you say upstate New York. And it's funny because even like places that like aren't even close to upstate, that like right on the border of Pennsylvania, get called upstate.
It's weird because you go to
like Binghamton considered upstate New York, and it's like
you go to like Gardens. Yeah, I was about to say you go to Gardensville, and it's like literally just right up the point of New Jersey.
I say hop, skip, and a jump off Jersey there.
Just there. That's that's North New York, but it's like what?
Yeah,
you still got like another 6 to 8 hour drive to get to the north part of New York.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, craziness. Christopher Tony says, "Hey guys, and everyone in the chat joining the show way late. Have to rewatch the episode. Well, you're good. You still got the first half there because you came in during the second half there. And you got the big one here coming right now. We got to talk about the preseason game coming up here. I know it's
preseason.
I know it's a preseason game, but it's still a game. It's still a game. So we got to talk about the keys to the Giants preseason game here. So again,
the MetLife Challenge.
The MetLife Challenge. So again, we know that it's a preseason game. So I want to say this. Yeah, before I even get it, in the keys, winning is not one of the keys. As weird as that sounds. Yes, would I like to win? Sure. Am I going to be upset that we lost a preseason game? No, doesn't count. It's points and whose line is anyway. It doesn't count. They're meaningless.
Yeah.
But there's still things that we care about when it comes to preseason. So, number one, no one gets hurt. That is the biggest thing in every preseason game. We don't want anyone hurt. Crazy, I know. It's also a big point of contention for us in regular season as well, for no one gets hurt.
Every game, no one gets hurt.
It's just, I feel like it's like Jason Sehorn syndrome. I'll always remember Jason Sehorn getting hurt big time, returning a punt in the preseason and never being the same player again.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So that's what I think of when I think of no one gets hurt again. Number two, the rookies shine again. Because that was a big part of this last game. You know, Jackson Dart looked a whole lot better than most people imagined he would. That's what we want to see continue. You know, you got the 6 plays we saw of Abdul Carter, the little hint of Abdul. Yeah, like hopefully we get to see a little more of him, assuming there's no injury we're unaware of. And you know, I'd like to see a larger sample size than 6. Again, guys, I've said I can't get excited over 3 hurries and 3 pass rush attempts. Like it's not enough a sample size, no matter who he's going against. So I want to see a little more of him, and I'm hoping he still shines as well, because again, everybody's excited about this kid. Marcus Mbow, another guy that we got to include in this group of rookies now, because he again looked very good in the preseason game. Now he stepped up in this Jets joints practice and looked very good as well. So, that's always good to see. We'll have to see what happens with Scatterboo, but if he happens to somehow get healthy enough to play, then that's something that would be interested in seeing. I don't think you'll see him for a little bit. It's a hamstring. Yeah. Those who are aware of hamstrings, you take your time with hamstrings. You rush someone back from a hamstring, you're going to deal with that all season long. A preseason game is not worth it, especially for a running back. As we lose Rob here, but we'll see what happens overall with him. Again, we'll let you guys know Saturday. Of course, now Saturday we will have the live play-by-play as well. So if anybody wants to watch the game with me, because I believe it's just me for that one there, we will be on live for the entire game there. Plus, of course, do our post-game coverage directly after the game as well. So you still have those options as well. The third thing, which is ironic as I say, we'll find out as far as Scatterboo, but a run game. I want to see a run game. I'm so sick and tired of looking at the way this running game is going for the Giants with, was it 2.8 yards in the entire first? I was like, someone break off a run. Someone do something in the run game. Especially frustrating when you see, like, what Dante Turbo Miller was doing in the passing game. It's like, do that without the pass part at the beginning. Like, I want to see a better running game because at some point, we're not getting that argument again, but at some point, we're going to see Jackson Dart. And when I see Jackson Dart, I want to have a running game that is running on all cylinders because that is so key to a rookie's growth. It's not even funny because it doesn't make it where they can focus on the rookie. So hopefully that's something we see. And the last thing that I'm really curious about seeing here for this game, there was one thing in particular that really embarrassed me as a Giant fan. And it was towards the end of the game, which is something I know a lot of people kind of shut off the game towards the end on preseason games, but I'm a masochist. I can't help myself. The secondary has got to cover better. And I know they're backups, I know they're scrubs and stuff like that, but again, there's been injuries like crazy on the Giants for years now. Like, I'm assuming somebody's going to get injured at some point. We already saw, Dru Phillips get hurt in a little bit, So I need to see these backups do their job. And I'm not expecting them to all of a sudden all turn into all pros and we have the best secondary in the NFL. Like, that's not going to happen. Just don't provide a 10-yard cushion. Be near your guy. Be in a position to potentially make a play. That's all I'm asking. Because they certainly weren't in that first preseason game. So hopefully we get some changes there. So, as Rob pulls back in here, just in time for us to leave here.
Hey.
So, guys, again, we'll be back. Like I said, there'll be coverage on Saturday of the second preseason game there. We'll be back again tomorrow as well for another episode as well. So if you haven't already, guys, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that share button there. Again, as always, we are live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and also
Sunday, Thursdays, depending on
whatever that is. So regular episodes 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like I said, the games will be live play-by-plays all year long whenever Rob and I aren't going to the games. And then, of course, on top of that, the postseason show as well. So if you haven't already, again, hit the like, hit the subscribe, tell a friend all about the show there. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. As always, we are live on YouTube, the preferred way of watching the show, along with Facebook, X/Twitter, and Twitch, and, of course, Rob's favorite, my LinkedIn profile. And of course, as always, we're available the next day on all the audio podcast platforms as well: Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, all the big ones there. So guys, again, we will see you guys hopefully tomorrow night as we have our next show here. Appreciate you guys for watching as always. And as always, Giant fans, go G-Man! Go G-Man! G-Man!
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.
Please, I'm begging you.